Hello everyone, welcome back to AD Gaming's channel. I hope you have a fantastic day / night, and in today's video I'm going to tell you which robots you should get from the workshop and which robot you should not get from the workshop. So you can say that this is gonna be a guide video, a detailed guide video in order to help you to make good decisions. Before I'm starting, guys, make sure if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you should subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, smash the like button, and yeah, let's start. First of all, the Orochi. In my opinion, the Orochi, even though it has stealth, it's fast. In my opinion, it's not a robot that I would recommend you to use. Because there are, especially on the current meta, there are so many counter to stealth. The Titans, there is Yang Li pilot with quantum radar basically. There is quantum sensor for the Titans, quantum radar. There is the Lynx pilot that basically some players they got it already. And there is Yang Li for the Aojun. Even though there are not many people that are using the Aojun, there are so many counters to stealth. And in my opinion, there are much better options than the Orochi. So I would not recommend you to get the Orochi, guys. So let's keep up. The Fafnir. Even though it's a great robot, the Fafnir has absorber shield when it flies. The built-in gun is really strong. Has 4 medium weapons, of course, high firepower. So good against Titans, the Fafnir. In my opinion, even though, believe it or not, it can be effective sometimes, I would not recommend you to use the Fafnir because there are so many counters. First of all, to absorber shields, there is shield breaker. The Fafnir itself is really weak on the air, but it's a fun robot. If you like to use fun robot and you know how to operate this Fafnir, sometimes it can be effective, guys. But again, in my opinion, it's not a robot that I'm gonna build and I'm gonna use, especially on high-level Champion League. For lower leagues, it can be effective. I have the Fafnir on my baby account, and I can tell you that it can be effective sometimes, but it's not a robot that I'm gonna build and I'm gonna invest my resources on from the workshop. Okay, so next up, the Skyros. Guys, the Skyros, it's a robot that I definitely recommend to get from the workshop. Because, first of all, it's really fast. On the ball mode, it has resistance. The Skyros is one of the best beacon runners currently that exist in the game. It has strong damage reductions, you can see, even without the pilot. It's really fast, and you can basically troll the enemies really well with this thing. It has 1 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy, and it has a good firepower, and it's really fast. It's basically, especially on high-level Champion League, I still see many Skyros over there. And this is the reason why, it's one of the reasons why you should build the Skyros, in my opinion. It's one of the best beacon runners, first of all, and you have at least to have 1 beacon runner on your lineup. Definitely the Skyros is one of the robots that I recommend to build. Demeter, I would not recommend you to get the Demeter, even though it has absorber shield, good amount of healing. I made a couple of videos with the Demeter, I did really well. But again, guys, in the current meta, nowadays, I would not recommend you to build the Demeter. There are much better options than the Demeter. But if you like fun robots, again, Demeter is really fun to use. I have it on my baby account as well, but there are much better, other better options. Okay, so the Khepri. Khepri, guys, definitely is a robot that I definitely recommend to build from the workshop. Even though it got so many nerfs, in my opinion, the Khepri is one of the best. It has good amount of speed, extra damage when he uses ability, repair, you can repair your allies, and 4 light weapons. It's a good amount of firepower. It's definitely a good robot to build from the workshop, guys. Still, even though, like I said, got a couple of nerfs, it's one of the robots that you should have on your handgear, especially on high-level Champion League. I still see so many Khepris on high-level Champion League, and low leagues even better. Khepri, definitely I recommend to build from the workshop. Harpy, here it's a little bit tricky because sometimes the Harpy can be effective. The thing is, there is the crisis with Reaper weapon. There is a counter for the reflector. So as soon as you fly, there is a Reaper weapon that can basically melt down the Harpy. As soon as it lands, the Harpy is sitting duck. So if you are looking at the aspect, the disadvantages, there are more disadvantages than advantages. So at this point, I don't think you should build the Harpy, because like I said, there are disadvantages, and also there are much better options than the Harpy. Same goes for the Siren. Like what I said about the Harpy, same thing about the Siren. Erebus, guys. Erebus, even though it has 3 heavy weapons, has huge Aegis shield. I don't think you should build the Erebus. There are so many counters to this thing. If there is someone that using shield breaker, you're done. It's true that it has EMP, has good abilities, but at this point, it's not a robot that I should build from the workshop. Revenant, guys. Revenant is definitely a good option. Also, it has physical shields on the sides, has good amount of firepower. I recently released a traditionalist Revenant video. It was really good even on high level champion league. So the Revenant is definitely still a robot that can work really well. Low leagues even better. I still see some Revenants on high level champion league. Revenant is still a robot that can work really well. Shell, it's a different story. Shell is not a robot that I would recommend you to use. Maybe low leagues can be effective, but as soon as you go up in the leagues, you will struggle. There are so many weapons that counter in physical shields, and basically the special ability of the Shell is basically you are relying on your physical shield. So I don't think I won't recommend you to use to build the Shell from the workshop. So guys, please take a moment to leave a like before we are continuing. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but we have to do it. It's really important. Typhoon, guys. Typhoon is the surprising robot. Definitely I recommend to build the Typhoon. 4 medium weapons, has speed, EMP ability, Aegis shield, different Aegis shield, small Aegis shield. It's not easy to penetrate this thing, only shield breaker can. But still, in my opinion, the Typhoon is one of the robots that can be, if you have the skills, you can do really well. There are so many players that still using the Typhoon on high level champion league. Definitely I recommend to use the Typhoon. Jaeger, no guys, no. Do not build the Jaeger. It has so many disadvantages. I don't even need to explain you. It can be a good option as a sniper, but might as well build the Behemoth, right? So next up, guys, the Hawk. The Hawk, definitely it's a robot that I recommend to use. If you are a starter, it can be really effective, especially against the Titans. This is the original Titan Slayer. His special ability against the Titans still can be effective, but on high level champion league, it's a little bit tricky. There are still some players that run in the Hawk on high level champion league, so it's not so bad, guys. It has a good amount of firepower, but you have to be real careful. As soon as you land, you have to stay away from the enemies. Keep the range. That's the thing with the Hawk. Scorpion, guys, definitely. Yes, I would recommend to build the Scorpion from the workshop. On high level champion league, there are still many players that are running the Scorpion. If you have the skills, you can get everything. Every robot, you can get it with skill, with your ability, backstab ability. Sonic weapons can work really well on this thing. Definitely, I recommend to use the Scorpion, guys. Build the Scorpion if you haven't built it yet. So, guys, very important. I'll probably do a separate video for the weapons. So, this video is about the robots only. Okay. So, next up, the Nightingale. Guys, even though I got a buff on one of the recent updates, there are better options than the Nightingale. So at this point, I don't think you should build the Nightingale. One of the options that you can build, definitely you should go for the Ravana. On high level champion league, the Ravana is still a great option. Many players, they are still running the Ravana. It got many nerfs, couple of nerfs, and still one of the great options over there. And if you have the pilot, the poor pilot, it's even better. His special ability is basically Transcendence. You cannot hit him. And 4 medium weapons is a good amount of firepower. Sonic weapons still works really well on this thing. Ravana definitely one of the options, and it has also good amount of HP. One of the options definitely you should go for. Cerberus, there isn't much I need to say. You should not go for the Cerberus. It's really weak, guys. It's really weak. Leech, same story, guys. There are so many counters to this. Repulse ability, this is a special ability. So many resistance counter. There is Reaper weapon. The Titans, they are direct counter to the Leech. So definitely do not build the Leech. Behemoth, guys. Behemoth is one of the robots that you should build from the workshop. And if you have the pilot, the special pilot for him, legendary pilot, it's even better. On high level champion league, I still see players running the Behemoth. Definitely a great option that you should build from the workshop. Phantom, it's a fun robot. I like the Phantom. It has speed, has teleport skill. With skill, you can sometimes do great things, but at this point, I don't think I'm gonna build it. I won't recommend you to build the Phantom. Fenrir, guys, let's go. This is the time to talk about the juicy Fenrir. This is one of the first robot. Every new player that asking me, AD, the first robot that you recommend to build from the workshop, I am saying Fenrir. The juicy Fenrir, guys. What else you can ask? Has good amount of firepower. It has resistance. Even though there are so many counters to the Fenrir resistance ability, guys, the Fenrir still is a great robot. On high level champion league, still many players running the Fenrir. It has magic, guys. It's a robot that has magic. I don't know how to explain it, but Fenrir still can be. It's one of the great options that you should go and build. Go build the Fenrir, guys. Tyr, physical shield healer, but in my opinion, Mender is much better option. You should go get the Mender. And second of all, the Tyr, the physical shield is not so effective, and it doesn't have the healing. Is not enough to compensate the it's not it, guys. Do not build the Tyr. Loki, I recorded a video with the Loki. There are so many counters to the Loki. It wasn't easy to use the Loki. It's fun to use it sometimes, the stealth, infinite stealth, but there are so many counters to stealth. Quantum radar, quantum sensor, Yang Li. So this is the main thing why you should not build. You should not build the Loki, guys. Ao Guang, I did a video with the Ao Guang, guys. It wasn't so easy to use it. There are so many direct counters to his special ability. So this is the main, I think, why you should not build it. Titans, the resistance counter, corrosion power. So many counters. Ao Jun, poor Ao Jun. So many counters to the Ao Jun. This robot, I think, is the most nerfed robot in the game. Got so many nerfs. It's not it. It's not enough. Its special ability is not lasting long enough. Cooldown is really long. It's really slow. So many disadvantages. If you have Yang Li, sometimes you can do stuff, but do not build the Ao Jun, guys. Do not build the Ao Jun. Fury, of course, there isn't much I need to say about the Fury. There is the Behemoth. Go build the Behemoth. Raven, if you only have the pilot, stealth pilot, the Nessa, you should build the Raven. On my baby account, I got the Nessa for free, and I decided to build the Raven. You basically, every time you jump, you have stealth. And the Raven has also other, it has damage increase. The cooldown is really short. It's really tricky. If you know how to use it, you have skills, you can do great things with the Raven. If you have the pilot, build the Raven. If you don't have the pilot, I won't recommend you to build the Raven at this point. Raker, no, do not build the Raker, guys. It's really weak. Its ability is not strong enough. Hellburner, if you have the pilot, it can be interesting. There is a legendary pilot for it, in case you don't know. It can be interesting, but then again, even with the pilot, it's not strong enough. Inquisitor is really slow. Even with Kyle Rogers, it's really slow. It's really weak. Do not build the Inquisitor. Strider, sometimes there are skill commanders that can do great things with him, but at this point, I won't recommend you to build a Strider. It's fun to use, but there are better options. Falcon, this here is a little bit complicated. If you have traditional skill, Sometimes if you are starting with this thing, it can be really annoying to deal with, but there are so many counters to resistance. So this is the main thing why you should not build the Falcon. There are better options. Spectre, there is an ultimate Spectre on the game. Spectre itself is not strong enough. It's really weak. A 20-second cooldown is really long. Even though it has 4 medium weapons, it's not a robot that can survive, especially on high level champion league. There are so many counters to him. Mender, guys, Mender. If you have the pilot, go get the Mender, the Marie pilot. Even if you don't have the pilot, the Menders can be effective sometimes. Has good amount of healing. It can be a good supporter, but there are, like I said, if you have the pilot, go get the Mender. If you don't have the pilot, it's a different story. Wayland, that's not a robot that you should get. It's really slow. It's not strong enough. Bulwark, it's also, there are so many counters. It's really slow. Speed is key part in this game. If there is a robot that is really slow, this is one of the reasons why you shouldn't touch the robot. Bulwark is really slow. Do not get the Bulwark. Hygiene, it's really weak. Energy shield is not a thing anymore in this game. It's not helping much. So this is a special ability. Dashes, it's not helping much. There are so many lockdown weapons and stuff. Do not get the Hygiene. Mercury, guys, do not get the Mercury. It's not a robot that I recommend to use. It has stealth, sometimes hell dive. It's interesting, but it's not strong enough. It's not meta. It's not fast enough. There are so many counters to this thing. Invader, guys, that big juicy spider, sometimes can be effective. I see some invaders on high level champion league can absorb a lot of damage, has suppression, sometimes can work really well, but you have to understand that has disadvantages like resistance counters and stuff like that, corrosion counters. If you have the pilot, if you have a pilot for it, you can increase the HP against other robots. It can be sometimes effective. Pursuer, it's a little bit complicated. Sometimes it can be really effective. You won't believe how. I recorded a video with the Pursuer one time. I did really well, but he's relying on his stealth. But if you have the skills, sometimes you can do really well. But there are better options than the Pursuer. There are so many counters to the stealth. Do not get the Pursuer. Blitz is also a robot that if you have skills, you can do really well. Guys, remember that. If you have skills, you can do really well. But so, like I said, Blitz has so many counters. He's relying on his speed, has suppression ability. It has suppression. It's a good ability, but like I said, there are better options than the Blitz. It's an interesting robot, but it's not meta. Bulgasari also. Do not build the Bulgasari, guys. There are so many counters to physical shield. Dashes, it's not effective anymore. Ares, it's interesting, guys. Sometimes can be effective. Has a special pilot. If you have the legendary pilot by any chance, go build the Ares. But if you don't have it, do not build the Ares. The Hades, same thing. There are so many counters to shields. The Pantheon robots, they are fun to use, but at this point, I don't think you should build them. The Ares, if you have the legendary pilot and Nemesis, there is a legendary pilot for the Nemesis. They can be really surprising, but there are better options, like I said, guys. So conclusion, guys, I said that Mender, if you have the legendary pilot, build it. The Raven, if you have the legendary pilot, build it. The Fenrir, even if you don't have the pilot, can be effective. Behemoth, build it. So I'm saying the robots that you should go for, build them. Ravana, Scorpion, the Hawk, maybe, the Hawk, Typhon, Revenant, Kepri, Skyros, and that's it. These are the robots that I recommend you to build from the workshop. They can be really effective. So guys, if you like this guide video and if you want to see more, first of all, hit the like button so I'll know that you want to see more guides like that. If I can help, I would love to help out, especially the free-to-play players and the starters. If I can, I'll be glad to help out. and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. If I see many likes on this video, I'll do also a guide for the weapons, which weapons you should get from the workshop. Okay, so this is it. Like I said, subscribe, hit the bell, smash the like, join the Discord server. It's another way to get news about everything regarding robots. Link in the description below. And until next time, have a good day/night.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you